Men in blue versus the green and gold. Virat Kohli versus Aaron Finch. Rohit Sharma versus Pat Cummins. Shikhar Dhawan versus Mitchell Starc. Bumrah versus Warner. Who will have the last laugh?
Hello and welcome to this very special presentation coming to you from the Lord's Cricket Ground. Game plan legends in England, three absolute legends of the game, two World Cup winning captains, one a World Cup winner who gave Indian cricket teeth and muscle. It's a real pleasure to welcome Sunil Gavaskar, Michael Clarke and Clive Lloyd. Sunny bhai, to you first.
Naturally, I'm the opening batsman.
You are the opening batsman. Absolutely, you are the opening batsman. India plays Australia. You've got the Australian World Cup defending winning captain with you. A spicy rivalry, how do you see it?
Well, I see it as, when the schedule of the World Cup comes out, you have a look at the matches, and there are certain matches you single out. So India-Australia is definitely one that I single out. India-Pakistan, India-England. There is Australia-England. There's the West Indies, South Africa. I thought is a match that you want to go and watch. And generally, because of the way the West Indians, there's a resurgence in West Indian cricket, I thought any West Indian match would be great to see. This India-Australia game is going to be something where, no quarter given, no quarter asked for. That's been the way India and Australia have played cricket in the last maybe several years, although a lot of people tend to think it's only in recent times. But you go back since 1977-78, when Australia unfortunately had the problem, unfortunately in the sense for their cricket at that particular point, of the split with the World Series cricket, and they were not at their best. Their best 11 wasn't playing. Since then, everything's been pretty close. The odd series, obviously, Australia dominated India, and then India dominated Australia. But these have always been hard-fought matches. They are very well-balanced teams. They have terrific batsmen. They have a terrific balanced attack, both the teams, and it's really going to be something worth going miles to watch.
Michael, Fanatic Sports Star Sports, bringing all these fanatical fans from India here, to come and watch this spectacular World Cup. Question. What Sunny bhai just said, very close game. When Australia 5 down for 79, did you think they were able to come back, or would they be able to come back? And then again, when Jason Holder and Andre Russell were going, West Indies almost there but failed. How much momentum does that give Australia going into the India match?
Yeah, look, the World Cup is as special a tournament as there is in the game of cricket. And I think already we've seen in this tournament, what you thought was the standout team, or you look at the #1 ranked team in the world, England, they recently got beaten by Pakistan. So, I think Australia versus West Indies the other day was a little bit similar. I thought that was going to be a really tight game. I think West Indies are such a destructive team and dangerous team in a tournament like this. They've got a lot of experience, they've got a lot of power. But I think Australia, the fact they know how to win, I think got them over the line the other day. I think there was probably 3 or 4 occasions where West Indies had the opportunity to win the game. Think about when Andre Russell got out the other day, it was just a missed opportunity. So what that does for Australia is give them confidence. There's no doubt about it. I think they've already got confidence in the fact that they've beaten India in India, beaten Pakistan in the UAE. Now they've got Warner and Smith back in the team. And when they get into that close position, they're able to capitalise and win the game. So I think right now Australia is full of confidence, and I agree with Sonny. I think this game, Australia versus India, coming up in a couple of days, is as big a game as we're going to see throughout this World Cup.
You are the umpire. These two can keep fighting India v Australia. How do you adjudicate this match? Your team would have closed it.
I think it would be very interesting. India's got a lot of talent. There's not a lot of talented players. The good thing I like about India now is that because of the IPL, a lot of the young players are now getting a lot of experience by sitting and chatting with ex-players, ex-captains and so on. So they're getting some first-hand experience. If you look at the batters, some of them are really tremendous.
This Indian team and this Australian team, which is coming up now in the World Cup, what is your take on that? You've been commentating.
Well, the point is it will be quite interesting. It could be very interesting in the sense that towards a certain stage yesterday, the Australian bowlers, they weren't that they were not penetrative because the wicket was a bit slow and so on. So the point is, but the thing that they have is variety, and they have a lot of experienced guys. Stark, Cummings, they're always thereabouts. And the Australians, because of their experience over the years, they've won, 20 out of 23 one-day games?
11 out of 11 in the last 11
right.
years.
So that means that situations like yesterday, they would have experienced that. And that's how they've come out of it, because their batters bat very well. Their bowlers bat very well. This fella, Coulter, the highest score he had made is 34 runs. We ended up with 92. I'm not saying that we bowled extremely well, but the point is for him to gather himself after he started quite shakily. But the point is that they have players that will come. They wouldn't make 30s and 40s and not go on. And the same thing with India. They have batsmen of class who will make hundreds, like the guy Rohit made the other day.
Sunny bhai, Michael was making this point the other day to me, that there are 5 or 6 Australian players in this tournament who have won a World Cup. A David Warner, a Stephen Smith, a Mitchell Stark. Does that make a real difference in crunch games, that you know how to win?
Exactly, because winners find a way. Exactly what Australia did the other day against the West Indies. They found a way. They found in Nathan Coulter-Nile somebody who said, look, he's got to put his hand up. And that would have been the result of the effort, not only the practice that they put in, but the conversations that you have with the other winners in the team. And that is something which actually lifts teams up, because these are the unseen factors in cricket. The dressing room conversations, or even when you're traveling by bus from one county to another county. Sometimes, you just spend a little extra time after the game is over, sit down, analyze the game for about an hour or so before you go home. Those are the unseen factors that can help the temperament. And that is, at the end of the day, it's always been temperament that separates the men from the boys, as we saw the other day. And the fact that you've got about 5-6 winners in your team, people who won, people who know how to win, makes a huge difference.
Michael, you've been a huge supporter of Virat Kohli. Ricky Ponting is on record saying Virat Kohli is the biggest threat for Australia. Can you tell me what is so special about Virat Kohli as captain, as batsman?
I think his hunger for success is like no other in the current game. I think he wants to win probably more than anybody that is currently playing the game, and that's not disrespecting anybody else. I think every player wants to win, but I feel like it is instilled in Virat Kohli to do whatever it takes to help his team get over the line. And I think as a leader, I think that's one of your responsibilities, that your job is to do whatever's best for the team on every occasion. And I think Virat does that consistently. And there's a big difference when you play this game of cricket if you're trying to save the game in a test match, or if you're trying to compete versus walking out there and just being focused on winning. There's a big difference in your attitude. So, he's a class batsman, there's no doubt. He statistically stands alone at the moment in the current game in this format. And that's going to be an important part, and he'll want to lead from the front as a batsman. But I think this team needs more than that from Virat in this World Cup if India's going to win the World Cup. They need more than his runs. They need his experience, they need his leadership, and they need that hunger for success to drive this Indian team to not give an inch against teams like Australia and against England and against New Zealand.
Clive, Virat Kohli as captain, you won 2 World Cups. You've led perhaps, as Mr. Gavaskar says, one of the best teams of all time. Virat Kohli is still evolving as captain. Your take on Virat Kohli as captain?
Well, I think he does everything that you expect from a captain. He leads from the front. He's very positive on the field, and you can see that he's thinking all the time. He rotates his bowlers. He's got everything that a leader should have, and I admire him because he makes runs in one-days and test matches. He's just very fluent. He's an excellent cricketer. He's a winner, and he's an entertainer. He's one of the best cricketers I've seen for a while. I will pay my money to go and watch him any day.
Wow. Michael, 5 wickets for Mitchell Starc. I mean, there was a lot of talk within the Australian camp and the media that Mitchell Starc is not getting the ball to swing, not coming in. Were you worried at any point in time about Mitchell Starc and the 5 wickets that he's taken against the West Indies sort of changes the whole thing for Mitchell Starc? And if you were Rohit Sharma, there's a real talk how Rohit Sharma will negotiate Mitchell Starc.
No, I wasn't concerned with Mitchell Starc at all. I think he's a brilliant short-form bowler, as good as anyone. I think him and Bumrah are up there in the top 5 bowlers in the world in the short format. Mitchell Starc's skill is speed, swing, but also control. And I thought we saw the other day the speed and the control. There wasn't much swing. So if he gets conditions that does swing, it's going to make him really difficult. And again, overhead conditions, pitch will determine that. Rohit Sharma, I think, is a class player. I think the fact he made 100 the other day does the Indian team, gives him a lot of confidence. I think there's a lot of talk always about the Indian top 3, Shikhar Dhawan, Rohit Sharma and Virat Kohli. And I think they need to have a wonderful tournament if India's going to win. So that rivalry, I guess, between Cummins, Starc and India's top 3 is one of the things we look forward to watching in a couple of days' time. And like I say, just being around the Australian team in the couple of games that I've commentated, they're as confident as I've seen them in a long time. And I know it's a big call, but in my opinion, if India don't beat Australia, I think Australia will win this World Cup undefeated.
Australia will win this World Cup undefeated if India don't beat them. Clive, agree, disagree? We've got to go into a break. Now you're on the
There are a couple of things that you haven't talked. You haven't talked about the Indian fielding yet. Indian fielding, I think, has been the best for years. I looking at them in the field, they're sort of moving around, they're anticipating well, and they're backing up their bowlers. I think I agree with you. Bumrah is quite a good cricketer.
Sunny bhai, Michael's comment, India doesn't beat Australia, they will go on to win the World Cup undefeated. Setting this match up, India-Australia is the match of the tournament. Agree, disagree?
Well, that is easy. He's talking before the game has started, no?
Nothing's changed.
Okay, I've got to take a quick break. But you know what? This show is Legends from England. Each of these legends have won World Cups. And how many of us have done that? There are, what, 200 people over the last 50 years who've had that thing in them to go and lift that trophy. So personal stories. And of course, India v Australia on the other side of this very short break. Legends from England, Game Plan, Fanatic Sports and Star Sports collaboration. Keep watching. Back on Game Plan, Legends from England with Sunil Gavaskar, Michael Clarke and Clive Lloyd. And as I said, I'll take personal memories because you don't get these people on the same stage ever. I mean, I was about to say often, I'll say ever. Mr. Gavaskar, running back with that ball in your pocket. Can you tell my viewers that story?
Well, I was at backward point, which is now known as John T's Corner. You know, the best fielder in the team generally fields there.
So you were the best fielder?
Well, I'm not saying that. I'm just telling you.
Best looking fielder.
Okay. So Michael Holding went to play a pull shot of Jimmy Amanat. The ball struck him on the pads and there was an appeal, but it ricocheted off towards where I was fielding. And so my first instinct was to stop a leg by being taken because it was, you know, we weren't defending a big total. So as I ran towards the ball, I heard a roar from the crowd, and I looked and I saw Dickie Bird had his finger up, signaling the end of the West Indies innings and India winning. So I got the ball, put it in my pocket, and I tell you what, that was the fastest sprint of my life from there. Because in those days you had people who could come onto the ground. And you know, I just ran. I tell you what, Usain Bolt would not have been able to catch up.
In the 2020 Olympics, We should just take Sunil Gavaskar back to that 83 moment and put him in that 100-yard sprint for India. India's never won a 100-yard medal, 100 meters medal. Maybe we can. Clive, West Indies versus Pakistan. Your accountant says he's taken a punt on you. The rest is yours. Tell us that story.
Yeah, well, we were 9 down and we needed 62, I think it was, in 14 overs. And the guy said, well, what should we do, Skip? I said, well, if you bat out the overs, we should get there. We'll be close. So my accountant, Gordon Andrews, and he was living in Birmingham, very tall fellow, and he came and he put down a case of pale ale. And he said, you're 66 to 1 to win this, and I've put some money on it. And here's the beer with to celebrate. So every over, I drank a pale ale. So I had, at the end of when we won, I knew we couldn't lose the tournament, because if we had lost that game, we would have been out. We wouldn't have qualified. So I was quite inebriated at the end of that.
How many bottles?
Oh, plenty. I lost count, really.
So Clive actually had given me the count one time. He said 14 bottles of pale ale in 14 overs. Okay, so that's the count. Today he's been more gentle. That's why he said countless.
That is what superstition is all about. When Kapil played that innings of 175, and when he started to bat so well, there was Krishnamachari Srikant, who was in a corner, and he was smoking. And he was told that he can't stop smoking. So, he was, while the entire Kapil innings, he had to smoke. I was desperate to go to the loo. I was told, no, you're not moving. So I've never crossed my legs as many times as I did that time.
Michael. Okay, this is a more serious one. Michael Clarke was recuperating. He was recovering from a career-threatening injury. The doctors had given him 8 weeks. The Australian selectors gave him 6. He managed to come back in 6. Managed to win the World Cup for Australia. The next day's 8-column banner headline said, Pup, which is his nickname, retires as top dog. Memories of that tournament and that final.
Yeah, well, I guess firstly the injury, to be able to get fit and be a part of that World Cup campaign in 2015 is something I was very proud of. Like you say, I tore my hamstring. The surgeon said he didn't think I would make the World Cup with my time restrictions, but fortunately my body was able to recover quick enough and I was able to get back out onto that park. And yeah, to be a part of a team that had worked over probably a 12 to 15 month period to feel like we were ready to be, to be successful in that World Cup campaign was very special. To play the semi-final against India at my home ground at the SCG and win that game, and then to go in front of 98,000 people at the MCG and hold that World Cup trophy up was extremely special. So, you think about, I guess, the things that stick with you when you retire from playing are the highs and the lows, and sometimes the down part of being a professional athlete, the tough times, allows you to celebrate those good times. And for Australia to win that World Cup in 2015 was one of those times that we did a lot of hard work.
One of the highest for sure.
Certainly one of them, yeah. I think to win in 2007, that was my first World Cup victory in the Caribbean, to be a part of that great team. And then, I guess, to captain in front of my home fans and win in 2015, as special as anything I achieved, yeah.
Mr. Gavaskar, same question almost. 10,122 runs, 25 runs, 51 plus average. You achieved everything. I mean, as an Indian batsman, Indian captain, you gave us the sense that we can do it in world cricket. How important was the World Cup win for you?
The greatest moment of my life. Quite simply the greatest moment of my life, because, winning the World Cup, you can be number one, you can win a bilateral series, but when you win in a multi-country tournament, multilateral tournament, seeing Kapil raise the World Cup, that is the greatest memory of my life as well. So, I can't describe in words the feeling of elation that I felt or the rest of the team felt. It was just incredible. It was just, and when we got back into that change room, look, we were not given any chance. We were playing the defending champions. They were looking for a hat-trick of wins. They'd won in 75, they'd won in 79. They were looking for a hat-trick of wins. We were knocked out for 183, which is no score at all. It's a 60 overs game then, not a 50 overs game, 60 overs. And, then suddenly for things to turn round the way they did, and we won. it was just absolutely incredible. We just went nuts in the change room. Having said that, I mean,
Did Kapil first finish a glass of milk?
yes, he did.
Because
Yes.
that's what I'm told, that he first finished a glass of milk after he came back to the change room.
Yes, because what happens when you play in England, I don't know elsewhere, but when you play in England, there is the dressing room attendant. They have a dressing room attendant, the change room attendant. At around lunchtime, around that time, he comes and takes your order for the drink for the evening, which is complimentary given by the staging association. So there were guys like that. So I think Kapil ordered the pint of milk, glass of milk, and so when the glass of milk was there, when he came back in, and he had bowled his heart out in that. So when he came back, he had that glass of milk and went out to receive the trophy. And what happens when you have a glass of milk and you go out to receive the trophy, your smile looks even better.
Yeah.
I also want to give you a little bit of a tip, which you might want to tell Indian supporters, is come what may, if India gets to the finals, and I'm pretty certain they will, they need to get this changing room, not the far changing room.
Yeah. It is.
This change room has always had the winning team. 1975, 1979, 1980.
Hello, please note this on Star Sports, if you have any influence.
1983, and then 1999 when
But you got to toss for it.
Over here, this one, the first one, not that far one. That's the home team dressing room. That's the England dressing room, not that one. This one.
Okay, last couple of minutes on the show. Clive, you go first. India v Australia, back to the current match. Who do you tip as favourites? Why?
And this, if India plays
Australia.
Oh boy, that's a little difficult, but
I think it's very easy.
you think so? Well, after yesterday, I think it's going to be close. It will be very close, but then
Clive
again,
Lloyd is not sitting on
yes,
the
I am at the moment. But I think what I'll say that Australia might have that little edge because of their performances before. They've won 5 World Cups, so it's a lot of cups to win, and they know how to win. It's no doubt about that. It will be a very close. I would think it will be a close game here.
You and I are on the same page, so let's give Michael a chance first. Michael.
You know my answer. I'm happy for Australia to win by 1 run.
Australia 1 run. Mr. Gavaskar.
Super over.
But India-Australia today at the Oval.
Who will win?
I mean, as in, rate the two teams and what do you think?
The last I heard was, the weather is not very good, so there won't be any play at all.
That's Mr. Gavaskar speaking, sitting on the bench.
No, I want India to win. Sure.
You think we have it in us to win?
Definitely do.
I think both teams do. I honestly feel you've got 2 unbelievable one-day cricket teams that are going to do everything in their power to try and get the edge. And I think as a fan of the game, that's what you want.
Exactly what.
If India play better on the day, there is no doubt they will beat Australia. If Australia play better on the day, then they'll win. And I think if you look at this World Cup, there's probably 6 teams that sit on that same playing field now, that it's all like West Indies had opportunities to beat Australia. I sit here and say, I think Australia can win this World Cup. I think they're a good enough team now, particularly with Smith and Warner back in. But yesterday, West Indies had 3 or 4 opportunities to beat Australia. So that tells me West Indies can also win the World Cup. India can win the World Cup. There's probably 6 teams that it's so close, and I think that's what makes this World Cup so special.
22 gladiators will step out at the Oval. 22 gladiators who want to make history for their country. One, the defending World Cup winning team, and the other which had won in 2011 and 1983. Can it get better than that? Virat Kohli versus Aaron Finch, Rohit Sharma versus Mitchell Starc. You can keep going. Steve Smith got 100 against India in the 2015 World Cup semi-final. Can Jasprit Bumrah do what he did in that Australian series in Australia? As Mr. Gavaskar said, the match to watch out for at the Oval. Watch it for all of us. All of us here in England will keep enjoying the action, for that'll give us talk with these 3 legends in our next episode of Game Plan Legends from England. Thanks very much for watching this one. Keep your comments flowing, for they will be with us right through the competition. Thanks for watching.